What you doing on the AC? This is alcohol and anime. Woo! Okay, this is I want to say unique situation for me filming recording this podcast, but it's probably not. I've probably done this before. I've done enough of these now that you think I'll have my stuff together, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, if you are listening to this, you probably know that I will be talking about Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. But which one? You say there's a few that have came out all at once. Yeah, I mean, of course, not the manga because you don't. Well, you don't read. You read manga. You don't watch manga. You can watch manga. Anyways, it's a live action, not the actual anime. Yeah, I know. It's alcohol and anime. This is live action, but this is a unique experience I will get into later. Both how they decided to release this, just general informative information, and all that stuff. Just being knowledgeable about what we are. What I watch, I'm assuming you must have watched too. I don't know why you listen to this if you haven't watched either the anime or the film. But I'll get to that in a bit because this is alcohol and anime. And before I get into really just whatever this movie is, I want to talk about the alcohol because it's I'm not going. I'll admit, like usual, because I, as the uncreative guy as I am, it's not creative, but it is something, and I feel like it's one of those like lazy weediness that is should be applauded in my case because otherwise I feel bad. No, I don't give a shit. Okay, so if you don't, Zone 100, it's a zombie series movie in this case, and whoa. Okay, I just took a drink I made for the first time. It almost doesn't taste like anything. What the fuck? I have been drinking already though. So I didn't have what I was going to make. I didn't know what was even going to be in this alcohol wise. I could always guess and be like, oh, it's a zombie movie. Go make zombie themed drinks. Actually, I was even listening to a different podcast. Fuck it, I'll shout them out. It's called Neat. It's about, alcohol history and stuff like that. And they're talking about a drink called Zombie. And I just now remembered that. Well, damn. It's not old, but I think it's been on. Anyways, that's not what I made. It would have been a good idea. And so I think all I have is even better to fit, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. Dang. So many alcohol-inspired things came out of this. First off, I mean, it's a bucket list of the dead movies. He's wanting to do 100 things off his bucket list in a zombie apocalypse. There's 100 alcohols I want to drink. That would be my bucket list of going to probably be dead from alcohol poison. But so what my dream drink would be is 100, in this case specifically Japanese alcohols because it is an anime fit with that theme. It takes place in Japan, so 100 different kind of alcohol. Like maybe they could all be different beers or sake, whatever, Japanese whiskeys. I don't know. Mix them all into one, whatever they be. It's not like they each have to be a different, like a very unique. And here's the other thing: bad alcohols. And not all of them have to be bad because they're probably not all going to be bad. But like supposed to be a zombie drink, they're probably all going to taste bad, regardless. But like if you can like old maybe like as safe as it can be, like old maybe to the point you shouldn't. It wouldn't be the best idea to drink it because I've had some like old sake. I've literally had like really high proof sake out of the trash. It was sake. No, it was definitely sake. I don't remember exactly what the brand it was, but it was like 40% alcohol sake. It was sake. I remember because I was like, this can't be right, but no, I don't remember what kind it is. Can sake even be that? Anyways, no. I drank that, which I probably really shouldn't have. That definitely would be in this trash sake. Somebody gave it to me. Like they, a dumpster diver. Someone I knew and was a dumpster diver and found this bottle of really what you knew to be really expensive sake that somebody threw out while moving. And I drank that shit. Oh no, I was, I wouldn't say a rough time, but definitely not one of my soaring tops. Anyways, so taking 100 different alcohol, Japanese alcohol in this case, mix them together. That would be your Zom 100 drink, a bucket, most likely in a bucket because it'll be that big. And so it's like it feels too obvious, but it's also perfect, right? Like it would be a perfect drink for this. Of course, throughout the movie, maybe the series eventually, but throughout this movie, there's not 100 different alcohols, but there was two that stood out to me, which was one beer, of course. I'm pretty sure like the first drink you even no, actually you see a lot of beer. I don't think you see a brand. They try really hard to turn the drinks to where you don't see the brand because I think how Japanese branding and stuff like that goes is they would have to pay for the rights to show that. So you think the other way is the company would pay the movie to sponsor it, whatever. All right, but so I'm pretty sure one of the beers they show, like the main protagonist drinks at one point, pretty much as soon as the zombie apocalypse starts, is Asahi. And I thought my liquor store here had Asahi. If I'm even saying that right, I'm pretty sure I am. It's been a long time since I've had it, and they didn't have it. Maybe at one point they did have a couple, but I ended up getting Sapporo. I like it anyways. No, I prefer Sapporo Black, but it was good. And I'm just surprised. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I just got Sapporo, and then there's another character, who really likes sake. Usually hot, but mine's not gonna be hot. And so I was like, well, I'm doing this whole idea of mixing, and yet it's only two. I'm shy by 98 other alcohols, but I don't. Somehow this whole time I've never mixed sake and beer. I mixed soju and beer. I never sake and beer. And I was like, how would this taste? I guess. So I did it, and as you heard from my first sip, it doesn't really taste like too much. Yeah, it's weird. Cause it's the Gekaiken beer or sake. I don't remember exactly the name of it. I don't have the bottle in here with me. I'll just make a glass of it. But oh man, hopefully that lasts. I'll last. I'll be busy talking anyways. Yeah, it doesn't taste like much. It's weird. I don't know. So that's my unique take on what I think a Zom 100 bucket list of the dead because of alcohol poisoning would be. What? I'm trying to. It's hard to think. I gotta say, I already been drinking, so things are escaping my mind on like other Japanese alcohol. I don't know. Uh, I mean, sake and beer individually are good, and this isn't bad. It's just like it doesn't taste as strong as I thought it would. I thought mixing them together would make it even stronger. The Sapporo's coldish, and the sake is room temperature, so maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. Huh? I don't know. I miss Sapporo though. Mm. Man, I wish I still lived in Hawaii. I used to drink it all the time. That's just me going down memory lane. Haven't been to Japan though. I imagine just mainly Japanese alcohol all the time. It's so good, and it's not as expensive either. Shame, America sucks. Anyways, so that should be good. Right? You get the point. If there's no point in making, I mean, I already said the main character. Already had, he drank a lot of beer throughout that you see a bit. Akira Tendo, Shizuka Mikazuki. I think that's the woman who likes sake. And then Kencho is his friend. He drinks some point too. There's like 4 four memorable scenes. There's like at the beginning, he's drinking with his company and like coworkers. Then when the zombie apocalypse starts, he's like drinking. Another part, he when he meets his when he meets Shizuka in a store, she has sake. But then later in the series or movie, they actually go like a onsen and drink the sake there. Uh, Oh, and then like there's a part where they're drinking with flight attendants in a Don Quixote, which we also had in Hawaii. Uh, wow, I miss Hawaii so much. Anyway, and yeah, those are like the most memorable drinking parts. I'm sure there's other little drinking, but at least for me, I don't remember exactly the alcohol they were drinking in the Don Quixote. Uh, probably beer. I mean, or sake, both whiskey. Wait. Yeah, there are a lot of different stuff. I could go through just scenes of the movie and look, but I'm not going to do that because that will take time I don't want to spend when I got the rest of the movie to talk about. So yeah, that's alcohol. That's kind of some rambling. Mm, let's talk about movie info or situation first? Okay, I'll talk situation first because that should be quicker and dumber. So I had this on my list to do a podcast episode on, but it would have been a while later because the anime is only like 6 episodes in at this point. And the film and movie came out pretty much the same time, or film and series came out pretty much the same time. But I put it on my list. It's like, oh, this would be neat. It's a movie. It's super based on an anime at this point. It came out at the same time. I can definitely do this, but I have like 3, 4 other movies, 5 other movies maybe, something to potentially watch first. I already had planned. But then I was like, there was a night I was like, okay, I want to watch something, not necessarily for alcohol anime, and just me and my girlfriend, and she doesn't want to be on here. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's just watch Zone 100. It's by the same person that wrote Alice in Borderland. She likes that. So I was like, let's just watch this. It might be okay, whatever. And it's like, I won't do a podcast episode about it. I have plenty of other stuff. I'm already falling behind on everything else anyway, so I'll just watch it. We watched it. My overall initial impression, it's okay. It gets real dumb at the end. Not what I expected, but it was okay. And we both were fine with it. But then I was going to go and watch and record a different movie for a different episode. And I was like, you know what? No, forget. Like, there's plenty to talk about this film. I'm going to do it. And my girlfriend's just like, okay, well, have fun with that. I'm still not wanting to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'll do it by myself. So I'm doing it by myself. And here I am. And so, yeah, I changed the plans completely. But here's the problem. While watching the film, we were drinking like like a milkshake, alcoholic milkshake. And it was like some really nice ice cream we found, different flavors. I think one was, we made a tiramisu at one point, a limoncello at one point, 2 different ones, and then also like a strawberry lemonade vodka and a Irish cream in them. And those are good. But we finished up the ice cream. Still have the vodka, but that one's not mine, so I'm not going to drink it all. Otherwise, I would probably be in trouble. And fuss that. Yeah. Even though I had permission, but I'm not going to do that. So, last minute, literally, I made this decision, and I was like, I'm going to go out and get sake. It's also a different day. I decided this. Okay. So, I was like, I had whiskey, Canadian whiskey, but I finished that also earlier, and I was like, well, all I have, literally, I have is this vodka. I don't want to drink it. And then how I did. I've been craving some sake anyways, and you know what? I only know of one liquor store around where I live that actually has Japanese beer. All of them have some sake to some degree, but only this one had Japanese beer. And I was like, I'm going to mix them, and then that's where everything came together. So last minute decision to record a podcast on this. Didn't intend to, but you know what? Shit happens, And so here I am. I mean, alone again. Yeah. I need gas. I need to get gas. I could have. I should just peer pressured. No, that's not good. That's a shitty thing to say. Probably could have though. We did watch it together, so I did not watch the film alone, but I am recording this alone. Oh, sad. Whatever. It's fine. Mm, and then that's it. And then that's it. So that's the watching experience. Watch at home. It's on Netflix. I don't think I said that part. So I can just go on to the information about this. So it's on 100 Bucket List of the Dead, also called Zone Zombie ni Naru Mare ni Shitai 100 no Koto, or that translated is Zom 100 100 things I want to do before I become a zombie. That makes a whole lot more sense because he says that in the film, but it's also a long title, huh? I mean, but Bucket List of the Dead, that is what it is. But also, he literally says 100 things I want to do before I become a zombie in the film multiple times. So that also makes a lot more sense as a title. But it's just long, which it seems to be uh, typical nowadays for titles. But yeah, the manga written by Haru Aso, like I said earlier, the creator of Alice in Borderland. Love Alice in Borderland. Watched it multiple times. Of course, I don't know. It's a spoiler. To say the end. So I won't say the end. Hey, I won't spoil this though. At least the film. I don't know about the rest of the series because I have not watched the anime yet because I didn't want to get sucked into it because I'm trying to catch up on a lot of other stuff I'm watching. So I didn't do that for this, but that's the other reason I went ahead and watched the movie is just to go ahead and watch it. Whew, but yeah, I might have to watch the anime now. But apparently the anime is on a pause or something. Something's going on. I haven't been keeping up with it, but I see things, and it seems like it's stuck on episode 6 for a bit. I don't know. But yeah, so the manga started in 2018. There's about 14 volumes. Then the anime started in July 9th, 2023. It's at 6 episodes, like I said. And the live action came out on Netflix on August 3rd, 2023. 128 minutes, over 2 hours. That part was cool. But yeah, it's weird that they did that because not only, and another weird thing, not only is it on Crunchyroll, which kind of expect at this point, it also is coming out weekly on Netflix too, which is different for it to be happening. So, and I haven't been watching it either. I'll probably pick it up on Crunchyroll eventually because the anime must be better, right? Because I already said the end of this gets really dumb. But then I went and looked at the episodes, and like they mix it up, like what stuff happens when, and like the ending of the film is actually episode 4, and then stuff that happens in like 5 and 6 happens earlier in the film or throughout the film. So yeah, stuff got mixed up, and that may have been why they stopped. Because if I'm guessing, but these 6 episodes may be like what makes up the film, and that's why they're waiting. Give people time to watch the movie and do that before they continue on. Because I'm assuming where the anime continues on would kind of like pick up in a weird way after where the film left off. I don't know, it's weird. Especially since I actually haven't said what's happening in the film. I'm just talking about it. But yeah, it's fine. It was very confusing, and they must have been planning this to release a live action so closely to the anime. It must be because uh, Haru Aso's like because Alice in Borderland did so. I'm assuming did well because it was so good. Of course, that one's different too. I have the manga of that actually, and that one's different. So I guess if the adaptation did well on Netflix for that one, they would trust the same author to do another series, do an anime and live action at the same time. Might as well, uh, huh? But I guess is that anything else to point out for this series? Not really. It's just weird, and I guess that's all I gotta say about it. Weird release, but that's kind of It's not the only one that's done weird releases, but it's definitely a unique way to do it. Okay, so let's see where to start. Mm, guess I'm just gonna run through the things I remember that happened in the film. I might forget stuff. I might have to go back and forth on stuff. My overall impression, I think I said earlier, is like it started out decent. Like it's a decent zombie film. And then the end just gets so weird that it really became a turnoff for me. And if it followed like the anime sequence, like how it plays out, it probably would make more sense because what happened at the end of this would happen earlier in the series, so it would set that up earlier for me. So it'd be like, oh, this is the expectations I can expect. When it just seems like it's thrown in at the end. Why am I being so beating around the bush? I'll just get to it. So this follows Akira Tendo. He's, I assume, working for like some commercial or some film, some ad agency that, and it was, I guess, seemed like his dream job, and it seemed like everything was gonna be fine, but it turns out it's terrible. It's overworked. I mean, literally working days straight. To the point where, hey, and it's even said at the very end, working at this company for at least a year for him, makes you seem like a zombie. Yeah, that I don't know if that part was trying to be subtle or not. I think it was really obvious, something everyone could put together. Oh, okay, they're playing on that. Never brought up in any way until the very end, though. And then one day he's just thinking, like, what if I just don't go to work anymore? Even thinks about jumping in front of a train, and then I'm trying to think if there was any hints or anything that was said that may have been the cause for a zombie apocalypse to start. But he wakes up the next morning, gets all the way to the outside of his building, and sees like this old man he was friendly with eating somebody. And then he's like, "Oh shit, zombie!" And he runs back up the building, which I guess works out. Probably safer for him because let's be real, logistically or I don't know, physically, zombies should have a hard time getting upstairs. I don't know. But they're fine. They're slower. The running acting is kind of cheesy and lame. Like, he's supposed to be like a star. He was like a college athlete or something. And, like, he's running so slow. The action in this is so slow. And when you get used to something like the series All of Us Are Dead, that action, really good. The choreography for everything happened, really. This was kind of just like, you're supposed to be an athlete, and you're kind of just. It's like everything's in slow motion, but it's not. You're just like, we gotta keep up with the camera, and we can't go too fast, so everyone can see what's actually happening. It's like a little cheesy. Yeah. So, yeah, he's makes it to safety on top of his building, um, and at work. Well, of course, he doesn't have to go to work anymore. He realizes this, but at his work, there's a female. Female. That's a weird way to say that. There's a woman that he was really falling for. She was nice to him, and like there was no alternative. She really was just nice to him. But he gets in touch with her to see if she's all right, and yeah, she is. She's hiding out at some apartment. So he's like, I'm gonna go look for her. And then randomly, when he leaves, climbing down a pipe along his side as well, and he stops at a random apartment. As far as I remember, we haven't seen this couple before, but there's like a pregnant woman and her husband. They're freaking out about what to do, and he just randomly stops by and is like, "Hey, you need anything?" And they're like, "Yeah, a couple ramen and blah 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 and stuff like that." Which I feel like that's for more. You're gonna need more than just ramen, but also I guess you're not being too greedy either. Anyways, so yeah, just randomly stops by there. Maybe a different introduction to them earlier would also be a good thing, but no, it's fine. Yeah, and then he goes to the apartment. No real problem going around. It's all kind of like goofy, like free, nothing stressful going on yet. Just yeah, it's nice, and it's like, oh, okay, it's one of this. It's a big like zombie land feel, but still not as series of Zombieland somehow. But that's kind of what equivalent, especially since there's a list, you know. So it goes to this apartment where she's at, and it turns out she's been sleeping with the boss. And it's not even what it seems like is it wasn't like the boss was using her. It was more like she was using him, where she actually had a thing for him, because he's a zombie, of course. Um, there's kind of a little scuffle, and in the end, she ends up busting his head open and like yelling, "It's like you promised you were gonna leave your wife," and stuff like that. Uh, and then he or she turns out to be bitten, and turns into a zombie right there. I have to say, zombies in here are actually pretty creepy, especially up close like this. And when there's a group of them, there's maybe too many to actually tell how they look. But up close like this and seeing someone transform into a zombie, actually pretty creepy. Mm, and honestly, not me saying this, I'm sure he stands there staring at her long enough, he was still contemplating, like, he would bone her probably. Like, obviously, it's like, and look at the rest of the series, pretty perverted movie. So, yeah, that was probably running through his mind. He would probably, but he probably wouldn't because he's a protagonist, but there was probably thoughts about it. But he does admit his feelings to zombie her, and then goes back, manages to escape, and then goes back to his apartment building. And on his way, he finds that the couple he was going to get stuff for, their apartment is like a bloody mess. They're nowhere to be found. And he's like, oh shit. So, yeah, this is the reality of like, oh, this is a zombie apocalypse. Bad things are going to happen now. And at some point, he decides to make a bucket list. Of 100 things, like the title said, 100 things I want to do before I become a zombie. And now I have to wonder if he's going to turn into a zombie at the very end. He should, like he must, right? Otherwise, what is all this for? Anyways, one of the things was like he crossed off was admit his feelings or tell someone he loves them, blah blah blah. And he crossed that one off, which I guess he did. It was a zombie though, and there's no reciprocation at all. But so yeah, and this is where I guess the real fun of the movie starts, because he's just kind of going around Tokyo doing fun stuff, riding motorcycles, um, setting off fireworks. There's one part he says he wants to set off a fireworks display. In my mind, you set fire to a fireworks, the entire display or the entire store. Watch that bad boy go up. No, he just took a bunch of fireworks and set those off around Tokyo Tower. So that was cool. But you think it would also drew attention? It didn't. A lot of the stuff that happens in this doesn't really make too much sense. But he's having fun. He's having a good old time. And then at some point, something happens. Oh, he's in a store. He meets Shizuka. That was her name, right? Yeah. She kind of saves him. Well, first she attacks him, and then sees he's just a normal guy. He was there just to get some sauce and salt for his steak, because that was another thing. Is he wanted a really fine steak or go shopping. A bunch of little stuff. It's like dream bigger, but also, hey, maybe this is big for him. I'm not going to judge on that part. But yeah, she ends up saving him, but every time she saves him or does anything for him, he's like, oh, well, I'm just doing it to protect myself. Which it is. It does protect her too, so she has a point. She goes off her own way, and then he goes back to his building, and he's like, oh yeah, I had a friend. Yeah, I mean, he had a fight with his friend in the beginning of the film too, but it took him like 3 days, 3 to 5 days or something like that, to remember he had a friend out there. I think it was just 3. And he finally like calls, and it turns out his friend Kencho has been stuck up in a love hotel, and now is just surrounded by naked zombies. And hey, uncensored. They're actually naked zombies. You get see zombie boobs all over the place. No zombie dicks as far as I remember. Whatever. But yeah, a whole lot of zombie boobs. And somehow at some point there's a zombie woman chained up, also without clothes on. And like I can't help but to wonder, At what point did she become a zombie? Like, she would have been bit at, or there was no other zombies in the room, and he's a coward. His whole thing is like he's kind of cowardly, and there's no way he would get a zombie out of the room if there was already one in there. So at some point she got bit. Maybe she just thought it was something kinky, and still let him tie her up, undressed, and then turn into a zombie. But at like what point? Like, and it's like a weird thing to try to think about. But at what point? Where were they at in all their fun when she turned a zombie? And he was lucky enough not to get bit and to realize the situation that was going on. The only thing I can imagine is like all that was happening. He would looked at his phone because, of course, he's going to be on his phone at some point while she's getting ready. He ties her up. He maybe like went to the bathroom and like saw some kind of message or a news alert on his text. He was like, "Oh shit!" Went out to go tell her to, and then she was already a zombie. He's like, "Ah, fuck!" And then maybe fucked her. I don't know. You see, zombie, zombie boobs and stuff like that, which made me also think, even during the movie, like there's obviously a porn parody out there called Zomboobs, right? I've seen a movie about zombie strippers. I've seen Stripperland about zombies strippers. Not porn parodies. Weirdly, just bad movies. But there must be one out there called Zomboobs, right? Zomboobies. Ah, zombies, zomboobies. Ah, I didn't look it up. Because honestly, I mean, zombies aren't attractive because they're like moving corpse. But it's someone's thing out there, of course. I don't know. Yeah, so Tendo goes to save him, dressed in his football outfit. And it's like, it's kind of neat. He's driving a motorcycle around. He's going, being all badass, kind of a lot of running around. Action still is kind of not super cool, but it's like, it's alright, I guess. But yeah, ends up saving him. And then they go to a bar. Oh yeah, this was another drink scene. They go to a bar. Nice bar. Japanese bars always look so cool. I need to go to one. And then I guess it's at this point that Tendo says he's gonna be a superhero. That's what he wants to do. A superhero that could save everyone. Which, spoiler alert, and it seems like he doesn't even realize this. He doesn't save everyone. There's a lot of people that are dying. So he's already failed. But where the film goes on from here, and the main like goal of the film is probably already like an hour in at this point, or something like that, is the aquarium at somewhere has like this special suit that like sharks can't even bite through. So he got that. He could be a superhero, pretty much be immune to the zombies, and that'd be that. But um, they have to get there, so they plan to set out. And before they do, they need supplies. And so where do they go? Don Quixote. Even though they've been to stores already, nah, it seemed like, I mean, yeah, it'll be a good place to go. So they go to Don Quixote. When they get there, though, there's a bus that was apparently heading for the aquarium too. Crashes. A lot of people eaten by zombies. Like I said, you already failed. And before people from the bus survive, kind of. And like, guess who's there? Shizuka also was trying to go to the aquarium. Apparently, the whole being by yourself thing was only to stay away from Nintendo. Okay. Yeah, they save her, then two other women, and then the bus driver. They go, lock themselves inside this Don Quixote, and everything seems like it should be fine. They feel safe. They're drinking. And coincidentally, there was another thing on Tendo's list. It was to drink with flight attendants. And who did they happen to save but two flight attendants? What are the fucking odds? Okay. So dumb. So they're drinking. He checks it off. He gets a drink. Like the flight attendants are drinking, and I'm pretty sure he drinks at some point. So he technically drinks with them, but by get a drink with a flight attendant, he obviously meant so much more. But he doesn't get it. But you know who does almost get it? Kencho. He doesn't. Such a terrible wingman. He doesn't like. Oh, how about you ladies? You know, one me, one with him. And he's just like, I'm just going to take them both. So they go off and do a little private show for him, and he's just like they're dressing up as flight attendants. He's just being goofy. The whole thing is just it's silly, but you obviously know, and I knew this as soon as he saved them. Like these three new people, they're going to die because, of course, what happens? One of them's going to have to be bit, right? Yeah, the bus driver is bit, of course. So while everyone's having a good time, bus driver just passed out. Turns out he was just laying there, turned into a zombie. Right when Tendo and Shizuka were having some kind of conversation, apparently she was wanting to be a doctor. He wakes up. They escape, but then because the other three are having such a good time, zombie bus driver goes and messes with them. And right when the flight attendants were trying to be sexy flight attendants, the Kencho really starting to put on a little strip show. Who happens to pop up behind him in kind of just a silly way. But the zombie bus driver bites one of them, and then, of course, screams, so then he goes and bites the other one. Kencho, of course, being the best friend, is able to make it out pretty easily. And then in the end, they end up escaping. There's no point in doing anything. They end up escaping. Shizuka's still on the I don't need to help people, but then kind of does help them, and then also ends up getting help. They escape. They find our camper, which is another thing on his list, and from there they go on an actual road trip to go to the aquarium. It's silly. It really is. And like it was predictable. A lot of this is really predictable. We were both just like predicting the things that were going to happen. Almost to the point where I thought my girlfriend already watched the movie, and she doesn't even like movies. And I was like, "Did you already watch?" Like, yeah, but it's just that predictable, and it's kind of disappointing because Alice in Borderland was so good and like tragic and sad, and maybe just wanted a different tone in this. I don't blame them, but nothing bad happens in this film. Like going throughout and going on from this film, nothing bad happens. There's no tragic friend dying. There's no random woman he meets dying. I mean, besides these random ones, no one he gets close to dies. So they're on a road trip. They do a whole bunch of cool stuff: paragliding, yoga on little waterboard things. I don't know, whatever. Kentry dyes his hair. They tried to dye his hair earlier. He didn't like that, so went back. Drinking that sake in an onsen. That's a life. And I'll be fine. I should have enough for the rest of this. Yeah, and then they're almost to the aquarium. Everything's going good. And I thought, this is the one thing that I thought it was something bad or already happened or was going to happen. On their way there, there's spikes on the ground, tires blowing on the camper. Tendo hits his head and it's knocked out. And then we see he wakes up, and I was like, oh, this is going to be something weird. And it's some kind of hallucination or dream. No, he just wakes up. In the aquarium. They're saved. Yay. But who would be there except for the company he was working for? Apparently, we're sitting there the day the apocalypse happened to shoot some kind of ad. So his boss is there. And he just falls right back into the routine of working and being miserable and acting like a zombie again. Which, yeah, makes sense. I mean, okay, yeah. But yeah, he just falls into it, and this is where, like, working so much like this without a break, without really enjoying life, you pretty much are just a zombie. I think it's Shizuka that eventually says that. But who else would be there but, hey, remember that couple in the beginning he was going to run and get things for, the pregnant woman and her husband? Somehow they made it out to safety. They don't really say how, but they're at the aquarium too, and they're safe and sound, and now they don't want to get kicked out because, you know, she's still pregnant, which I thought at some point this baby is going to pop out at the most inopportune moment. Never does. Baby's still not born, which, I mean, makes sense. It happened later in the series, but they go their separate ways at the end too, again. So he falls in this rut. Kencho and Shizuka want to leave. Uh, the husband actually helps them out secretly. But Tendo isn't wanting to go. He wants them to be safe, and for them to be safe, he has to work there so they don't get kicked out. But they're wanting to leave him anyways, and and then they find his list. They remind him of it, and he's like, "Yeah." But of course, at some point, a zombie gets in. Some person who's not paying attention on their job lets a zombie into a truck, drives that zombie into the aquarium area. Zombie gets out and kills just pretty much so many people. So in the middle of all this has happened so much from them getting ready to leave and doing from the moment they like start making their plans to leave, the zombie has already broke out in the aquarium. There is so much time that passes after the zombie got out, and this aquarium must be huge. I don't know how they don't hear it and all this stuff. It's ridiculous, kind of. But so they're able to do all that, and just when he's starting to tell off his boss, that's when the zombie finally pops up, and so they have to make a run for it. The boss finally like be shitty and like use two of the other employees as shields, and they realize how bad of a situation the boss is, and so they like Tendo more now. So yeah, he's just trying to save not everyone. So many people die again. Won't point that out. And like tries to save a few people. Of course, the couple, his friends, and whatever. Some of the employees, and they're like running around. The boss left everyone behind, wasn't helping anybody. They go and try to confront him again, in like this room. And hey, at some point earlier, they're in an aquarium. There's a big shark, and he's like, "Oh, somebody's going to get eaten by a shark." Well, I didn't expect. Yeah, someone gets eaten by a shark. Dead people, some zombies. They get eaten by a shark. They fall in the water. It's cool. What I didn't expect is for the shark to just suddenly jump out of the water and like land straight vertically down to eat someone. But still, that's like okay, things are crazy. Then it gets even wilder because they're like, oh, it's a shark out of the water. It can't do anything to us now, even if it is a zombie shark now. And this is where it really lost me, and it just got so dumb. And if this happened earlier in a series, I would be like, okay, this is the tone it's in. This is the weird thing. But this is the very end of the movie. This is the final conflict. The shark grows legs, like something out of Geo. And now it's a shark with like 4 pairs of legs or something like that, just running around trying to eat people. It actually doesn't eat anybody else. They're actually able to hold it off. It's just so. The rest of this is so dumb. I don't even want to talk about it because it's so stupid and it ruined the movie for me, kind of, almost. So they're running away from the shark. Boss is still alive. Boss gets trapped. Everyone else kind of makes it to a safe spot. And then Tendo, the dumb fucker he is. Not fucker. Still virgin, probably. I don't know. Not me making fun of him, but I think that's like a point in the movie. Wanting to be a hero, decides to go and keep trying to save the boss. Over and over again. It's like, give up. You're risking other people's lives by wanting to do that. It's so, just leave him. No, but he keeps going out there. And then Kensho goes out to try help. And then Shizuka eventually has to go out and help. And they do. They keep helping. A bunch of other zombies show up again. The boss ends up living throughout the whole thing. They do save him. So many other people died. Like, why didn't you prioritize those other people who were better people, but you prioritize your boss? It makes no sense. It was so bad. But, yeah, that happened. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But they end up having a fight with the shark. There's some back and forth. Some zombies. He gets bit a lot, but he's finally found the suit, and he's wearing it, so that doesn't matter. He's finally getting to try to be a hero. Kind of... Gosh, it's so stupid. She just shows up and like with 2 speakers and like gets to the edge of the water and like throws the speakers out so they go off to the side of her so that the zombies run past her like in a V and like jump in water. It's like that's so fucking cheesy. And then when everything seems safe, the shark seems like it's stuck in a wall. Somehow it gets free. It squeezes through. I don't know what happens. And then they have to fight the shark again, keep fighting it. And what they end up doing is like tying some batteries together. Tendo's suit is like steel and can make the batteries like electrocute the shark. Should have electrocuted him too. I don't know what kind of installation's in that suit, but I feel like probably should also shocked him. Kensho has to make up for his failing football moment. Well, also I didn't realize they had like Americanized football in Japan, but apparently you do. And Kensho makes a throw, flashing back to like when he failed at it. Makes a toss. Tendo beats a, and then it looks like Kensho's knocked out or not dead. Obviously, if he was bit by the shark, it's a shark. If the shark bites you, it's going to be noticeable. You're not hiding a shark bite. And he's like, "Oh no, it's just plain dead." And it's like, "Oh, well, at least you admit it, I guess." And then that's where things okay. Everything's done. Conflict's over. Everyone's leaving the aquarium now. The people that are alive. I don't know what happened to all the other zombies. They're not in a rush. There should have been a whole lot of zombies. Don't know what happened to them though. They're fine now. I don't know. This movie. It's another one of those situations where this movie wasn't very good when you talk too much about it. But yeah, everyone's going to go off. The pregnant couple, they're leaving. The two employees, the boss, try to use their shields. They're like, Tendo's a better boss now, but they go off somewhere else. And then, of course, Tendo, Shizuka, Kensho, they're going to go off on their own. Back in the camper, they got that tire fixed. And leave the boss there. He lived. And now I'm assuming if this is a series, he's going to pop back up, because that happens all the time. But it's so silly, so dumb. And he has a suit. But here's the most bullshit thing, and I kept pointing it out, like now, is he marks off be a hero that can save everyone. He marks that off his list, but he didn't save everyone. He failed. What else to say? But then the other two, they start adding things on. Kensho wants to be a comedian, and then Shizuka wants to be a doctor. So now this bucket list is for all three of them, which I think they only got to like 20. And then he adds his last one, or as far as the movie goes, number 20, I think it was, make being a superhero his job. And I was like, hey, well, you're not very good at your job. I just want to point that out. Yeah, you saved some people. You said everyone, though. Maybe he didn't. No, he definitely says everyone because I recognized the Japanese was Mina-san. Huh. Yeah, so he definitely didn't save everyone. If anything, his actions could got so many other people killed, and maybe did. He could have went and actually saved other people instead of just the boss. Look, you gotta learn when to, like, just cut your losses, you know? But, yeah. Oh, what is this? I kind of want to read the manga though. Like I talk so much shit, but I still want to read the manga. Uh, hmm. So many though. 14. I'm pretty behind. How many is out in English so far? So far there are 11 are out in English already. Huh. Okay. Here's the other thing is I am a huge High School of the Dead fan. Huge. It was like my favorite manga. Oh, I did read the manga, but manga, of course, never is going to finish. I watched the anime so many times. I lost count. And it's so good. It has some humorous stuff in it, but it's super serious. It's kind of ridiculous. It's the meme everyone uses for, like, boob physics in anime, of course. Which, yeah, that's ridiculous. It shows boobs at one point in the bath of the nurse. I don't know why I point that out. There's boobs in. Apparently, it's okay to show boobs if it's in a zombie thing. And so it's hard because I'm kind of trying to compare this. It's a live action, but there's anime, and if I would be doing the same thing. It's not serious, but times are changing. I heard, like in Japan at least, High School Dead wasn't that popular. And it was a lot of work to do it. So this might be something different, but there's also other good Japanese and Korean zombie stuff. Actually, is there other live action zombie? There was Zombie Ass. That's another. That was a Japanese live action zombie film. That was also just really stupid. But yeah, like there's All of Us Is Dead. There's a Zombieverse. That's a new one that also came out. So there's other like Asian inspired zombie films, live action or series, anime. So there's other options, and just can't rank this one as highly as the others. Just based on this film, the manga might be a lot more entertaining. I feel like what happened in this was pretty similar to the manga, just in a different order, so it fits better as a film. But I don't know. I might actually have to read it. I also don't know what the deal is with it being stuck at 6. I gave my theory earlier. Who knows though? But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Zone 100 Bucket List of the Dead, or Zone 100 100 Things I Want to Do Before I Turn Into a Zombie, which a title that makes a lot more sense, but is a mouthful. So yeah, let me know what you thought. If you read the manga, the anime, let me know what you thought of my drink description. The Zom 100 bucket of the dead because dead from alcohol poisoning. Zom 100 bucket of alcohol poisoning. Yeah, that'd be it. Because that's pretty much what it'd be. 100 different alcohols in a bucket to drink per person. No, you share it. You can share it because they split it up at the end. So yeah, you can share it. That's fine. Don't kill yourself. Yeah, period. Don't kill yourself. Or do it. I don't know. Good messages or whatever at the end. So yeah, definitely. I'm assuming you watched it if you listen to this whole thing. So let me know your thoughts on it, on the film, comparisons if you read or watched the others, either the manga anime of Zone 100 or also other zombie manga anime live actions like this. Plenty to talk about. I love zombies. I don't know if I actually even said this. I am obsessed with zombies. Huge zombie fan. I've at some point must have watched every zombie thing that existed. Then so many other zombie things came out. Anything I could find on Netflix, any streaming service. Of course, zombie shows. Walking Dead was my favorite show for a really long time. And I already said High School of the Dead. Anything I could find, I used to just make YouTube videos about zombie related stuff and shows and movies and stuff. So huge fan. I haven't watched Zombieverse yet. It's another Korean one. I'm looking forward to season 2 of All of Us Are Dead, which weird that that's getting a second season. So it has been hard on me not to watch an anime or read the manga when I really want to, and I know I like the authors. So it's just life, life. Sometimes I myself feel like a zombie, but also not really, because sure got a lot going on, but I'm enjoying it. But yeah, let's just talk about zombie stuff. Talk about anime. Talk about alcohol. Talk about alcohol and anime. Let's talk about this podcast. You can talk, all that fun stuff. But yeah, it would be cool to know everyone's thoughts. And you're like, well, okay, yeah, let's do that. But where? Hey, glad you asked, because you can find me on social media stuff. All the social medias, Facebook, blah, 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 Instagram. Oh, Instagram is at the _AC_stories, but like Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, Tumblr, Threads. Oh no, wait, that one's Instagram too, so that would be also whatever. Anyway, it's the AC Stories everywhere. I also have an email if you want to email me. theacstories@gmail.com. I have a website you can contact me through. I'll have links to everything. I also have Discord you can join if you want to join that, and we talk there and talk about all kinds of other stuff there. Join a little community, expand that. Yeah, so many places to find me, really. But I also have a newer thing that I like doing, which, I don't have notes for this. I normally take notes when I write or when I watch a film, just so I know what I'm going to say, so I don't ramble on too much. Which, surprisingly, I feel like I didn't do too bad this time without notes. But it was also last minute, and I didn't expect to do this anyways. I might write up some notes, but if you want to see my notes I write for this, my other videos, or just if you want to help support me in a financial way, I have a Ko-fi, however you want to say it, ko-fi. A $1 and $2 tier. $1 gets you access to secret Discord channel, like a special Discord channel for those that join my Ko-fi. And shout out at the end of all my videos or podcasts. I don't know, all that stuff. Anything I make, I'll special thank you page at least. And then $2 is you get access to all my notes, any bloopers I might put out early at least, and any stories I've written that I've scrapped, any scrap things, stuff like that. You'll get access to that. So if you want to help support me so I can do this more carefree and buy more alcohol, which is a weird thing to say, like give me money so I can drink and you can listen to me drink and talk about stuff. I don't know. If you also listen to this and you're of legal drinking age, wherever you live, and you want to like watch a movie with me, or you already watched a movie and want to join a podcast episode with me, I'm totally down to do that. I'm fine. I love having guests, and if you want to be on here with me, let's do it. I'm game. But yeah, everything I said, links will be in the description. If you are on some platform, you can like a heart, star, whatever, and do that. If you can also follow, subscribe, you can do that. It'd be really cool. And if you want to rate it, and if you want to rate it really well, I'll of course rate it honestly, how you feel. But hey, if you want to rate it really well, do that too. It'll be cool. I appreciate everything, anything, but more than all, just knowing people listening. That's the thing I really care about. And comments. I do like responding to comments and having a conversation, no matter what those comments are. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Alcohol Anime and talking about Psalm 100, Bucket List of the Dead. Until next time, I'm the AC. Thank you so much, and bye.